Welcome back, and moving on to our first segment for today. And we all know what the efforts exerted when it comes to digital transformation. And actually, Egypt is making progress in implementing its national goal of streamlining administrative procedures and turning itself into a hub for digital innovation. We are going to talk more about this and more about the challenges that we face in this respect with our guest for today, Mr. Mohamed Fahmy, Information Technology Advisor. Good morning, sir.
Good morning to you. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Fahmy. Let's first, if you could give us a definition of the meaning of digital transformation.
It's in fact digital transformation is the use of a fast changing, very frequently changing technology that resolve the traditional software problems, and that is based on the cloud-based solution or architecture, rather than hosting infrastructure at your premises. Meaning that the traditional way of having the information technology was to have your infrastructure at your premises. The hardware, the application, the software, the resources. Where that with digital transformation now, it is based on a cloud-based computing technology that you have your all infrastructure is at the host of the cloud that is being shared with many users to ensure that you have the highest possible capabilities of the software and to enhance all the software technology. This enables the government or the companies or the business or the individuals to have a fast connection through the internet on the cloud to their information there.
So actually you have taken me to my second point, talking about the impact of this transformation on the society in large, talking about, as you mentioned now, the individuals.
Yeah.
And definitely to change into this, we need to work also on the individuals who are going to use this,
Sure,
because if we are not going to give them all the facilities and to be educated how to use it properly, it's going to be an obstacle and more challenge on them.
Yes, in fact, for the individual, we all of us now almost using a cloud-based architecture solution in our computing services. Like, for example, having our mail boxes. Our emails is being, some of them with Yahoo, some others with Google, and both are using cloud-based architecture. They have infrastructure, huge infrastructure being disk storage, computer power, processing, and this is remotely. You don't own the hardware, you don't own the infrastructure, but it's being owned by service provider like those giant service provider in computer services. For individuals today, you see everyone is using computing, even child or kids, or they are using technology
but
already.
The level he is using is different.
Yes, of course, but you see now the world are changing. The technology is evolving very fast, and it's being changing around the second. And that enables the people to use the technology in their lifestyle. So everything is now being automated and digitized, and this is the beauty of the digital transformation.
Right. What are the benefits of digital transformation worldwide?
The benefits is the world now is becoming more of small to reach, or you can reach everything. It's part of our lifestyle now. You have your information system, you have your travel planning in the digital transformation. You have your scheduling, you have your air planning. You can plan, you can fly, you can book your tickets, you can do everything online now. You can do some sort of shopping, you can do everything in our life now is being digitized to enable us to use the technology very fast, and now it is the concept of paperless organizations or paperless governments. You don't rely on papers anymore. It's all being digitized, and you use your computing system or computer services to achieve anything in your life. Even education, you can learn online and remotely. You can grant some certificates, or you can have some e-learning through the internet. You can buy online, you can do shopping, you can do everything. You can interact with the technology or with the computing system remotely. And this is the beauty of the digital transformation.
Well, for sure that this is going to be of great importance to Egypt, but I mean, we have to differentiate between two different parts. For example, if we're talking about e-booking, e-learning, all these aspects actually, or this side is very much familiar to the one who's going to use it. I mean, we have many people, they are professional. Some people now, they are not interested to go to the airlines company.
Yes.
They like to book for themselves. They like to search for the word of mouth when it comes to reservation for the hotels. Talking about e-learning, this is something among those who are interested in this. But when it comes to something that is different, I know now that, for example, we have some also parts where we can pay online for different sectors, even in the supermarket.
Yes.
Different aspects of life, actually. But when it comes to certain parts that is really need more to have to be more aware, professional in using the digital system, how can we work on this? For example, for someone who wants to know more about his permits, more about his, if he wants to go to do something regarding his car, certain issue that needs steps to be taken. This is the part I'm talking about. You got my point?
Yeah, I understand, but increasing the awareness of the technology awareness,
or to making much easy
for
them to be used, for example. Some people still, they don't know how to go for the idea of e-booking up till now.
Yeah. In fact, we are going now towards paradigm shifting in the technology use. If you compare today with the past few years or 10 years back,
of course, yes,
we were not aware, all of us, most of us. Now, step by step or gradually, people start relying on the computing services, like for example, it is for in the social media. It's becoming more and more reliant on the social media, that people connect together, connect with their families, connect with their friends, buy tickets, reserve tickets, or go for some training remotely. And the awareness has to be gradually changed, or we have to inject the information technology to the people in a way that, for example, in the schools today, where the kids starting now computer science or computer learning in the schools is being mandatory today for the kids from the KG, KG1 and so on.
By the way, it is mandatory now if you want to apply for a school or university that you have to make the application online. Sometimes it's not that easy for some of the parents actually to change it, to turn it from the PDF. A lot of procedures, you know, so this is another simple part, for example.
Yeah, through the media sometimes, or through self-learning. Self-learning is available now, even for the beginners from the beginning, and you have to get some sort of training. For example, I need to train myself or to train my kids or my sons or whatever, and the ownership of the government is to try to enhance the awareness of the technologies to the publicity or to the people slowly, to get them aware of the technology, because in the future you will end up with paperless. You won't find any piece of paper to do anything with it. It will be completely electronically. If you look at the mobile services today, for example, the smartphones, and look at just only 5 years back, you were not having a smartphone whereby you can use Google Map, you can find addresses, you can find universities, you can educate yourself, you can buy things, you can even interact with the salespeople, and you can see your products, your services, whatever you want to buy, whatever you want to book. It became so easy and fast, and the data transformation or the digital transformation, it enables a huge amount of data to be used and transmitted over the internet. And that makes things easy. And the reflection positively is not only on the individual base, it's also on the corporate level, on the companies, on the manufacturing, on the health care, on everything, on everything, and every aspect in life now is becoming digitized or on the way to be digitized.
Right. What are the disadvantages of this particular process?
Disadvantages? From my personal view, the disadvantage to me personally, I look at it like from a social media or socializing with people, for example. People now became very lazy to see each other physically. They became like video conferencing. If I want to see you in the past, I would meet you and we start talk together. Now we can just, I can call you with a conference call or a video call, or friends tend to meet only electronically, but the life became electronic life rather than social life. And if we can say this is an impact, I see personally the impact on the children or on the kids, that they become more reliant on technology rather than physical interaction. This technology already eliminating the human interaction directly. Like in scientifically or technology wise, it's improving a lot.
I think also just came to my mind while talking that if we remember in the past, it has to do with the memory. You used to remember the telephone number of your wife,
Exactly.
your mother, your father. Nowadays, you are just pressing on the name.
Exactly.
So if you ask, for example, your son, do you know my number? If it's switched off, for example, do you know my number? No, he won't be able even to call you with his memory to keep telephone numbers as we used to do as children in the past.
Yes.
But still we have some challenges in this transformation in general. And I know there was a conference that took place recently and there were talks about this. So tell us more about it from this different
the conference that's being held almost last week or a few days back was talking about one of the main topic is the digital transformation, especially in Egypt. And the government is the owner of the digital transformation and is taking this as a big challenge on the coming 10 years. And they started already in some projects, and there are many other projects underway, some of which is, if we classify in different areas, like in the education they started to do something, in the healthcare they started to do something, in the e-content, and I will just elaborate on each of those, and on the e-government. As far as education is concerned, they started to do something like, you notice that last year, I think, or 2 years back, they started giving each student a tablet, and they start examining them remotely online using this tablet. They connect remotely through the internet, and they can do their exams. They start doing some automation in some of the schools, and the future planning is to try to automate most of this in the education field. And some of the universities already started automating or starting computer automation projects in the universities. And in the healthcare, they started to do some automation in some of the hospitals or big medical centers or big clinics already, and there are many underway. And in the e-content that I refer to sometimes, in the old days, if you want to look for some documents or the historic or the histories of Egypt or in the memory of Egypt, and you want to see some documents goes back historically thousands of years.
Something
and
like
that was
archive, for example,
yes,
something like this?
Yes, this is being
database.
Yes, there is a big database that you host all of this information there, and you can retrieve it in a fingertip, and you can see everything very easy. And many other projects also in the e-commerce. You can buy online, you can buy remotely, you can do lots of commercial deals electronically. That's it.
Right. Just as we were talking, even I talked to Dina about this important conference, because the conference is very, very important. Again, it is going under the umbrella. Definitely something like this we can never do without the government, and the
Yes.
government has to be the owner and the regulator. So as step by step, maybe the concept, as you said, we are putting a goal throughout certain period of time. So we know that we are moving on the right path, and we started to see this, as you mentioned, right now, and even in more issues in our daily life.
Yes.
And this will give more facilities even to investments coming
Yes.
to Egypt,
Yes.
whether we're talking about foreign or local investments. Definitely this is going to be of great importance. And from here, talking also about the recommendations taken, and what is the next step? Where are we now?
We have, I believe, the government have already a plan, a big plan in the Ministry of Communication, Telecommunication and Information Technology. They have a lot of plans, and they have a lot of projects underway to tackle, some of which, again, in the different 4 or 5 areas that I referred to, like education, healthcare, e-commerce, government, e-government. They have this. In the new capital project, the big projects in the new capital, they are aiming to have most, if not all, the ministries or the government sectors areas already fully automated, and step by step they are reaching their goals. And this requires, by the way, huge investment. It's having digital transformation all over Egypt, and to cover everything or every sector in the government. This will require a huge investment from the government, in line with some cooperation with foreign entities, because they already having a far away advancement more than Egypt.
Do you have any support? We have seen the Minister of Information Technology talking about this, and I believe that we are using the Egyptian expertise as well, right?
Yes, yes. Egypt is having a lot of expertise, by the way, in the information technology. Yet we did not use every one of them, or the majority of them. But we have the capabilities already. We have the technical capabilities and the information technology capabilities in many of the Egyptians. And you look at them abroad, you look at them in the States, you look at them in Europe, everywhere you will find an Egyptian in every information technology entity doing a lot of work. And here, I believe that the government is already taking help from all of this, and you invest in the resources, of course.
And again, why would I change? If I could ask you, what are the challenges that are making meeting the digital transformation in a growing country or in a developing country? Are there serious challenges that would stand in the way?
In fact, the challenge is huge. It's a big challenge in front of us, and in front of the government especially, to achieve the ultimate goal, or to achieve the digital transformation in full. I believe this will take years, and meanwhile you have also, or we have, to invest on our resources without having the investment on the resources to get them properly trained and practicing in the field of the information technology. We will be halfway through. This is one side of it. That's why they are naming, rather than human resources, they name it human capital. They are the capital, and we have plenty of Egyptian resources in Egypt and everywhere. We need to invest in all of this to get them properly trained. But the challenge in front of the government is also huge, because traditionally, especially in Egypt, we've been using papers everywhere. If you go to search for your driving license or your files in the traffic departments or wherever, you will end up with people digging and trying to find some documentation or birth certificates.
And sometimes you stay for hours waiting to find the
Yes.
paper. Sometimes you will not
Sometimes
find it.
Sometimes you go back home and come later on to find your paper. However, if all of this is being stored on the media or on the storage infrastructure digitized, it will be just a second to retrieve your data.
I believe one of the main challenges when it comes to this, the harmony among Ministry of Education, Higher Education, Minister of Education, and also the Ministry of Information Technology, because resistance of change is part of any development taking place in any sector. Sometimes the normal citizen will believe that this is going to replace him, and he is scared from any new change. Even though we have seen this taking place now in education on all levels, as you mentioned. We have seen, for example, Dr. Khaled Abdel Ghaffar talking about the importance of this, and talking about that we have in the new universities that opened in Egypt, we have now departments for robots, we have departments for inventions, and a lot of things actually that it has nothing to do by replacing the human beings, but human beings themselves can be part of this. And I think that we need to work on this to show me how my life is going to be more easier in the future if I accepted this change. Maybe this is one of the points of the normal citizen who is not part of this.
I understand this, but normally the people are reluctant to change. This is very
this is my comfort zone.
This is human nature.
Yes.
You are reluctant to any change whatsoever in life, and that change has a curve that called a change curve. First the anger to the change, and then the reaction to the change, and then until you reach a level whereby you accept the level of the change that does
hesitant about it.
That, as you said, that does not impact your comfortable zone, and people are afraid of the change, especially when it comes. They believe that if you automate everything, then they won't have anything to do. This is not the case, because this will make their life more easier. It will make their.
That's what I'm saying. That we need to work more on this. Actually,
this is awareness. Again, back to the start. It is awareness that you cannot just apply change overnight without preparing the people to accept the change. You have to sell them the idea first. You have to give them the advantage of the automation. You have to let them feel that they are not going to an area that's scaring them.
And I think we have enough time for this actually.
Maybe
we are on the right track so far.
Exactly.
Right. Mr. Mohamed Fahmy, Information Technology Advisor, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
And still we have more to bring you on our breakfast show. But first, moving on to a quick break, then we'll be back with more on our breakfast show.